It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this Tuesday, September the 7th. What am I thinking? September the 7th, 2021. I'm not drinking, folks. Honest. I'm not drinking. I've had a busy morning today. Couple of announcements. Of course, you guys all remember about Thursday. It's not going to be live. I've got the pulmonologist business about hopefully the chance of getting rid of the oxygen, or at some point getting to the point where I can get on cruise ships again. That would be in my best interest for my mental health or lack of therein. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. Well, I should be doing a lot. Now, that's our buddy Pete. I'm glad to see that Pete is concerned with his vegetable levels on a cruise. Just like I'm always concerned with my vegetable levels and have at least one and sometimes two of these first thing in the morning. So Pete is on the Sky Princess, sipping on a Bloody Mary, and I think he also had a pina colada and probably went back and forth from one to the other. That's the way Pete does it. The reason I flashed that up at the beginning of the broadcast, we are going to try tomorrow morning to interview Pete on a live stream from on board the Sky Princess somewhere around the UK. Now, you know what that means as far as signals, Wi-Fi signals go. But we're going to attempt it. I'll get to Wi-Fi signals here in a couple seconds. Tuesday, travel, cruise, and cruise industry news for September the 7th. Wow, my tongue and brain are cooperating this morning. All right, this morning we're going to update weather, this time both the Atlantic and the Pacific. The Scarlet Lady's on her way to the U.S., Carnival Legend gets a new paint job. Another Norwegian ship sail. Royal Caribbean's testing update. A report from Harmony of the Seas and a special guest to chat about the Carnival Horizon. So that's all this morning on Travel and Cruise Industry News. Tuesday, September the 7th. There, I got it right that time. Over there in the chat room, you might notice that Hot Air Tom is back home. He and Cindy are back in Richmond. They went to get their booster shots this morning. Tom has had his, and he's telling this is a typical Hot Air Tom adventure. They went to the CVS pharmacy where he made his appointments online. There's apparently 3 CVS pharmacies like in a block. And he went to the wrong one 3 times. For the 3rd time before he finally got to the right one. So that's a typical Hot Air Tom from Richmond, Virginia. You guys know I like to pick on Tom. All right, let's talk about the weather a little bit. That's what Hurricane Larry is going to look like here for the next few days. It looks like it may bend to the north before it gets to Bermuda. Of course, it's still going to have some impact on Bermuda, and then it's going to head up north and not impact greatly, at least, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Newfoundland's a different set of circumstances. But we'll just have to see how things go up there in the next couple days. Now, meantime, what did I do? I uploaded the Pacific twice. That was kind of dumb. So I got to go back and do this again, folks, where I can upload the right thing. Oh, well, I'll just talk about it. There's 2 systems out in the Atlantic now. I uploaded the Pacific side of things twice. That was kind of dumb. All right, Hurricane Larry. The Air Force hurricane hunters are investigating Larry this morning. Interests in Bermuda should monitor the progress of Larry. A tropical storm watch could be required later today. So that's for you folks in Bermuda. Let's see. At 5 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, that was the last numbers I had, the center of Hurricane Larry was located 830 miles southeast of Bermuda, moving toward the northwest at 10. This general motion is expected to continue through tomorrow, turn toward the northwest and north, with an increase in forward speed as forecast on Thursday now. Maximum sustained winds around 120 miles an hour with higher gusts. Larry's still a Category 3. Some gradually weakening is forecast during the next several days, although we have not seen any weakening yet. And this is still an extremely large hurricane. Hurricane force winds extend outward 70 miles. Tropical storm force winds now 185 miles out from the center. Pressure still at 958, so it still could strengthen from here. Swells generated by Larry will continue to affect the Lesser Antilles, portions of the Greater Antilles, and the Bahamas through midweek, impact Bermuda through the end of the week. Significant swells could reach the east coast of the United States and Atlantic Canada by midweek and continue affecting these shores throughout the end of the week. That's Hurricane Larry, who's out there in the middle of nowhere and still causing problems. Now, down in the Gulf, you remember we've been watching a system that's crossed over the Yucatan. Well, it's out over the water now, and it, like I projected yesterday, we have shown a little bit of signage that it's strengthening. It's still disorganized showers and thunder showers over the northern portion of the Yucatan Peninsula and the south central Gulf that are associated with an upper level disturbance. The system is expected to move slowly northeastward over the central and northeastern Gulf of Mexico during the next couple days. Upper level winds are currently unfavorable for development, but they are forecast to become marginally conducive for some limited development by tomorrow night. The disturbance is then expected to cross the Gulf toward the southeastern United States, and some tropical or subtropical development will be possible after it emerges off to the southwestern United States coast later this week. What's changed since yesterday is the next 48 hours, they're now saying 10% chance of further development. They're still holding at 30% over the next 5 days. So not gangbusters yet, but we got to watch this. And the folks down on the Gulf Coast, you got to watch this sucker. You guys that got nailed by Ida and are still suffering and still without power and water and all the other things, you got just to be aware of this one, folks. Who knows if it's going to be anything, if it's not going to be anything. We don't know yet, but just keep don't bury your heads in the sand. We've had a week or 10 days without anything out in the Pacific, and all of a sudden, wham, we get 2. That just seems to be the way it goes. All right, the red X, the one closest to shore, showers and thunder showers associated with an area of low pressure located a couple hundred miles southwest of Manzanilla, Mexico, continues to show some signs of organization. Recent satellite and wind data indicate that the circulation remains broad. Environmental conditions are conducive for additional development, and the system is likely to become a tropical depression today or tonight. And they're talking about 90-degree chance of this sucker strengthening in the next 48 hours and 90-degree for the next 5 days. This is a system we're going to have to watch. We're going to have to see what direction it starts moving, if it's going to head for land, if it's going to head out to sea. We don't know yet. But this one has a chance of being another nasty storm. Now, the one further out in the yellow X is a small low pressure area located about 900 miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja California, producing some showers and thunder showers. Development, if any, of this system is likely to be slow over the next day or two while it drifts to the north. After that time, environmental conditions are expected to become unfavorable for further development. So they're saying 10% on this sucker, both the next 48 hours and the next 5 days. But complicated weather systems this time of year, not unusual. All right, we're first going to talk about the Scarlet Lady. We've talked about the Scarlet Lady a bunch. While she's been over there doing staycations around the UK, well, Portsmouth had to say goodbye to the Scarlet Lady. Virgin Voyages' inaugural season has come to an end after 3 months operating its summer soiree series from Portsmouth. Portsmouth bid farewell to the line's Scarlet Lady by lighting up the Spinnaker Tower red as the vessel departed the UK for a transatlantic crossing bound for New York City. Throughout the summer, over 8,000 passengers enjoyed cruising aboard Scarlet Lady, which is Virgin Voyages' first cruise ship. Starting in October, Scarlet Lady will spend the fall and winter sailing 4 and 5 night voyages from Miami. That's the Scarlet Lady. All right, the Carnival Legend has gotten a new paint job. Following in the steps of several other ships, Carnival Legend, which is currently undergoing a dry dock in Marseille, France, has been given the new paint job. It was first seen on the Mardi Gras some time ago, and you've seen it on several other ships that were recently in dry dock. Little news out of Norwegian this morning. The Norwegian cruise line continues with its phased-in return to service, with Norwegian Epic becoming the 4th ship in the fleet to resume operations. The vessel restarted on the other side of the pond out of Barcelona, Spain, on Sunday and is currently sailing away in the mid. That's the Epic. All right. First, we're going to get to the story that I don't like to talk about at all. Well, there's parts of this that I do, but there's parts of this I don't. But because of the continued misrepresentation by some of the people in the space, I hopefully can straighten this out. Of course, that's one of Royal Caribbean's ships. Since the CDC updated various policies it outlines in the conditional sail order, many of our cruise lines have updated their pre-cruise testing protocols from 3 days to 2 days. And now that includes Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, as we expected them to do several days ago. The new testing requirements will be effective starting September 13th and are for ships sailing from U.S. ports. Both cruise lines have varying testing requirements, as these were implemented according to the rules set by local governments. In the U.S., this means the cruise lines follow the directives from the CDC. The overall directives now on Carnival: vaccinated guests 12 and older must show a negative COVID test result for a PCR or antigen test no more than 2 days before boarding. Unvaccinated kids 2 to 11 must show a negative test result for a PCR test no more than 3 days before boarding. For this age group, antigen tests are not accepted. Guests will need to pay for these tests themselves, and the cruise line will not reimburse the cost of the tests. The new requirements come on top of the protocols that the cruise line has already implemented. Those include a rapid PCR test for kids 2 to 11 taken before boarding the ship, And on cruises 5 nights or longer, another complimentary antigen test will be taken before the cruise ends. Vaccinated guests who require COVID-19 test to re-enter their country can now get this done on board. All right, here's the part of the Royal Caribbean story today that I don't like, and I don't like talking about because of the subject, but from the source of this, sometimes I do bring things up because I think the weight of the issue is misrepresented grossly. Last week, a passenger aboard Harmony of the Seas was hospitalized in the Italian town of La Spezia after he experienced COVID-19 symptoms on the ship. An Italian newspaper reported that a 74-year-old U.S. passenger began feeling symptoms after he embarked the cruise ship in Barcelona on the 29th. Following a regular stop in Majorca on the 30th, the next day the ship arranged for transportation for the guest to San Andreas Hospital in La Spezia, Italy, where he was admitted into the infectious disease ward. He was accompanied by his wife, who remained with him as the ship sailed away onto the next port. Royal Caribbean required all guests over the age of 18 to be vaccinated and test negative before boarding. The entire crew is vaccinated. It was also believed the guests had other medical issues. The important things, folks, from all of this is the protocols worked. We're not going to be without COVID for a long time. The protocols that Royal Caribbean had in place worked. They started contact tracing. No, there were no other positive tests. Yes, I'm sorry that this gentleman had to be hospitalized and his wife had to go with him. That's why you need to get insurance, people. If you're going on a cruise and you can't take these last minute changes on things, don't go. But make sure you know everything about your cruise line on testing, on masking, on insurance. Make sure you get insurance and the right kind of insurance. And no, I hate it that people blow that out of the water like some people do. And I'm not going to mention any names. But okay, now, everybody knows that I'm technically challenged. I'm going to try to do something a little differently than I've done before because of what happened. I interviewed our new friend, Danny Lee. Danny and his wife were on the Carnival Horizon and just got home a couple days ago. And he's over there in Richmond, another good Virginia gentleman to go along. Tom Henry's not the only person in Richmond that likes to go cruising. I can tell you that. Hot Air Tom's not the only one. I interviewed Danny yesterday afternoon, and there are some audio issues. At 4 o'clock this morning, when I started getting involved with editing the audio issues out of the interview, I realized that was just going to gut the interview. So I made a decision that there are places in the interview where the audio drops off. I don't know if that was on Danny's end or if it was on my end. I can't tell. It could have been either. It could have been neither. You guys are familiar with me doing something stupid like muting myself, and you guys try to read my lips until I think about looking over to see that y'all are screaming at me that you can't hear me. So I'm just hoping a couple of instances in here you can read Danny's lips. Now, the other thing is this one of the problems with StreamYard is that they can only take 5 minutes at a time, and I'm constantly screwing that part up. So I'm going to try doing this all in one large event. So with no further ado, and definitely a testing issue here, I'm going to see if I can start this, and we'll get an interview in with Danny Lee from over there in Richmond, Virginia about the Carnival Horizon. Now, where did it go? Download. There it is. Danny's right there. And I don't know, that's terrific. Dead air. My guest today on Chillie Chats is Danny Leaf. He's from over there in Richmond, Virginia, the same place that Hot Air Tom is from. And he's a longtime cruiser. Danny, welcome to Chillie Chats.
Thank you.
I understand that you guys just got off the Carnival Horizon. And what was different about the Carnival Horizon post-pandemic from other cruises in the past?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that the embarkation process was really easy. We've been platinum on Carnival since around 2011. Right now, they're not doing the platinum embarkation nor faster to the fun. They're assigning you a time to be at the port. But once you get to the port, I think the Lyft or Uber dropped us off, and within, I'd say 15 minutes or less, we were already putting our bags in our room on the Lido deck.
Okay.
So that was really fast.
Yep.
We had to go over to a small little COVID desk where we had to present our cards to prove we were vaccinated and show our paperwork from where we got tested within 3 days before the cruise. We boarded on Sunday, tested Thursday morning. And so we had to present that. And that took all of, I'd say, 30 seconds for my wife and I. And then we were putting our luggage through the scanners, picked it up, and on we went.
That's great. All right. As you can tell, I'm a big fat guy. I've been a Carnival guy for years and years and years.
Love Carnival.
How was the food on the Horizon?
Very good. This was our first Vista class ship. Pretty much the dining room food was the same. I noticed a few other options. The pasta bar. They also had the Mongolian wok there, and you could choose either or. The buffet was set up in different stations. I'm not much of a salad guy. I always hated on all the other ships. I had to wait through the buffet line to get, to what I wanted, the meat and potatoes or the seafood or whatever. But this ship was set up with different stations for the hot food, for the salad, and for the desserts. It reminded me, if anybody's ever been on Princess Cruises, it reminded me sort of their stations.
Right.
They also had plenty of hand washing stations. I don't know if that's just on the Vista class ships, but I've never seen that before, where near all the buffets, you just walked up, put your hands in 2 spinning cylinders, and washed it for you.
Right.
Have you ever seen that on any of the other ships?
No.
I have not.
No.
So I wonder if that's new post-pandemic.
That would think so, yes. All right. You got to visit a port that I've never been to. You got to
Must be Bimini.
To Bimini, and I've never been there. How was Bimini?
Honestly, not much there.
Okay.
Not much there at all. We got off and we took a tram. They do have a tram around the island, and we took it to the far end. We got some great, like this shot you're showing here, where we got some shots of the ship from far away. And we rode it back to what do they call it, James? The Fisherman's Village. But there wasn't much there at all. I was really surprised. I think this is a last minute port, because when we booked this cruise, it wasn't going this route at all. We booked it about 3 months ago. It was actually doing the Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and Cozumel route. And Jamaica at the time said they're not doing cruises, and now from what I understand, Grand Cayman said they're not doing any cruises for 2021.
Right.
So they just completely switched the itinerary to what it is. But Bimini is pretty much another free beach day. If you're a big beach goer, you should like it. But it did not look as nice as the beach as at Half Moon Cave, where we were the next day. We've been there a few times.
Lovely backside of the ship there.
Yes. Yeah. This particular class has, which something my wife and I really didn't like. What was the special?
Havana Rooms.
They have what they call their Havana Rooms, where you have to book a specific category of room in the Havana area to be able to go down into their private pool and a couple of hot tubs. And I think it's located like on deck 5 or 6. And you have to be a Havana guest to be able to use it. So we just kind of looked up from above and looked down on.
Yeah.
But it was a very small part of it. That's it right there. It had an endless pool in the middle, and the 2 hot tubs, and they had special padded chairs and all. We still had some access to another pool and a couple hot tubs up on the leader deck on the back.
All right, then you got to go to one of my favorite islands, and that's Amber Cove. I've enjoyed Amber Cove immensely a number of times.
We've been twice now. This one and our last cruise in February of 2020, when we went there, and I think also Half Moon Key, and I forget what the third port was on that one, but that was our last cruise right before the pandemic started. And we did a city tour there and included a wonderful cable car up the side of a mountain. And got some wonderful pictures on top. It was a gorgeous area. This time we just stayed at the port area and went to their little private resort with water slides, and the great big pool is off to the right when you leave the ship. We just pretty much stayed there this time.
Did you overall feel safe on the Horizon, or did you have some antsy feelings about the way they were doing things?
I was apprehensive before I got on, just a little bit. I'm not a germaphobe, to extreme measures or anything, but I was a little apprehensive. But once I got on the first day or so and I saw what the operations were, I felt a lot safer than I did just going shopping days before the cruise.
Okay.
Most people were following the rules. Only a handful of people we saw. The cruise was only 50% booked. So that made it a lot less crowded, but everybody on there seemed to follow the rules and was very polite with each other. And the staff was just incredible. The sanitation of everything was a lot different. I did notice in the buffet, you can still serve yourself right now for the most part, except for liquid-based things, like if you're getting gravy or like in the morning, I'm a Southern boy, so I like my sausage, biscuits, and gravy. And now they have that pushed back to the back where they give it to you. So anything that may spill like that, they handle, like the bacon where they toss it out to you, but everything else you got yourself.
Were you on a cruise that they only did bacon every other day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's only every other day.
The big
I will say though, for us, it was a little funny. I was a friend of mine who's also a big cruiser this morning about that. First sea day wasn't until 3 days in, and we went to. We like to go to brunch on the sea day. I'm sure you've been to that a few times. It's really good, and they had bacon in there, but we had a sea day, Amber Cove, and then our last sea day. And I noticed they had bacon in the dining room for brunch, and in the middle in the sea day, they had bacon too. So you can still get it every day. I think it's just maybe the buffet. Yeah. So it didn't really affect me anyway.
Okay. All right, Danny, I thank you for giving us a little report on the Horizon, and hopefully we'll see you on a cruise real soon.
Excellent. Yeah. Next one's in April.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, amazing that add myself to the stream. I got to take. I knew I'd screw something up, folks. There we go. Now I'm back. Okay. Wow. I got pretty much through that without screwing it up terribly. Again, I apologize for the audio. Jason says he thought that might have been Danny's mic that was causing that, but I have no idea. So anyway, it was a good little interview. Glad to have somebody new join us for an interview. It was good to see, as I was going through some of the comments while the interview was playing, great to see the Cruise Boys in the house. They did such a terrific job when we had them on last week. Terrific that they stopped by this morning. And they're on a working vacation. Emily says, I'm not sure. I should have gotten a picture of the water line inside the garage, but our help for cleaned up the water line. Yeah. Chillie is wearing my favorite shirt. Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't even know what shirt I have on. Still waiting for, let's see, I have a JJ Cruise shirt on order. Of course, I modeled Hudson the Cat's shirt yesterday for Emma Cruises. Gretchen says when insurance comes, they should see the water lines. No, yeah, I would think so. I think the water line is still on my sister's car. We did not think to take pictures directly afterwards. That's a good point. I mean, that's a good thing to remember, folks. If you're in those, there's what Jason says, definitely his mic. If you're in those situations, guys, like Emily was, where her basement got flooded and stuff, take pictures of everything immediately. So you've got proof for the insurance adjuster whenever they get there. That'll be helpful. The same thing if you're ever in an automobile accident, even if it's a fender bender. Get out and take pictures of both cars and all that stuff. So you got it just in case you need it. So that's a good lesson to have learned from this for all of us. And I'm sorry, Emily, that if you have any issues because of that. Gretchen says, I think you'll be okay. I don't think we had any picks, and surprisingly, the insurance was easy and relatively fast with the check, and they supplied a general contractor. Nice. It's probably going to be a little slower for you guys due to the scale, but they sent out teams from other areas here, so they'll probably be coming from all over New York and other states too, I would imagine, coming to that area. And Gretchen says, ooh, Bimini. I've not been there. I'm going to have to go. Well, as soon as I can get on a ship, one of the stops going to be Bimini. I think I've been to every place else in the Bahamas that you can go on a cruise ship. I haven't been ashore on all of them because of my mobility issues and tendering. Some places allow tenders, allow scooters on tender. Some ships don't. So sometimes I end up staying on the boat. The only real damage that we have is my sister's floor downstairs, and our washer and dryer is working. You're lucky. That's good. That's good luck, Emily, Gretchen says. And that's where I said, hey, to the Cruise Boys. Glad they were with us. Is Bimini just like the other islands, generally speaking? I'm assuming yes, but I don't know since I've not been there. So, some more popped in. Tom Henry, hot air Tom. Emily, why do you need to dry towels to wash them? I would throw wet towels in the washer and start the load. The towels we use to catch the flood water on the floor. Tom says, just do a double wash. Cindy says, thanks for the info on the Horizon. You're welcome, Cindy. I feel bad that the audio wasn't up to what we like to have for our interviews. So, but again, it was still, it was good. I'm glad. Well, it was a good interview. No, got some information about the Horizon from somebody different, somebody new, a different set of eyes. I like that. Where did I find him? Let's see. He posted on Facebook just some general thoughts about how people behaved on that cruise as far as following the rules. They were very positive thoughts. And I said, wow, that's an interesting perspective from somebody, obviously, that is very thoughtful in going on a trip. And I sent him a message, and he came back and said, yeah, as soon as I get home, he said, we're on our way home now. That was when they were, I think maybe at the airport the first time that I had contact with him. And they were waiting to get home, and they got home and like Saturday night. And we talked back and forth a couple times and got together yesterday afternoon and for this morning. But yeah, it was from I thought a very thoughtful piece that just absolutely floored me. And I said, wow, I need to talk to this guy. And that's exactly what I did. Bonnie's with us. Hey, Bonnie. My niece has a house in Astoria. Had to throw all the towels and blankets she used to try to dry out her basement. She had 3 leaks on her house too. Ooh, that's terrible. We may have to throw out some towels if they don't wash and dry properly. We're trying to rewash our towels. I think my sister did a load. I've gone through 2 floods in my house, and I need the pros to come out to clean everything up. Carpet had to be pulled up, thrown out. FEMA didn't help me. Oh, sorry about that, Bonnie. Gretchen says, yeah, everything was stripped and replaced, even the wallboard. State Farm, no FEMA here. Yeah. I'm not sure. Our mayor said the FEMA needs pictures. We did not take them right after the flood. I have pics from the dumpster truck, of which we filled already, and pics of all our items. Well, hopefully that's going to be good enough. They are sitting on the lawn now. Sharon's with us. Hey, Sharon. She says, good morning to everybody. Bonnie says, State Farm paid for the new wallboard and carpet when the flooding came from driving rain, and my hurricane impact windows weren't caulked. I had mold growing up the walls. Ooh, gross. Gretchen says, oh no. So, all right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for today, I'm afraid to say. So, if you're new to this channel, because we picked up some new subscribers, that's terrific. As you can tell, our guys carry on a good conversation back and forth throughout the whole thing. Feel free to jump in at any of these into the chat room and introduce yourself and where you're from. Who knows what you'll find out in there. We do this every day, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then on Sundays, I co-host the Cruise Amigos live from who knows where. This week, we were live from Scotland. We've been live from London. We've been live from Alaska. We've been live from Manchester. We've been live from boats all over the world. Who knows where we'll be live from this week. But that's on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Feel free to join us on any of those. And for everybody else, guys, I will see you guys. Oh, wait a minute. I just caught wind of another comment that I've got to go back for. Gretchen says, black is a good color for me. Have you lost weight? Looking good. As a matter of fact, yes, I was 287 today. I'm coming down a little, and not as fast as I'd like, but a little. They'll be happy when I go back to therapy tomorrow to tell them that they can erase one of those numbers on the chart. So, all right, that's it for today, guys. I'll see everybody 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. This is the old fat travel guy later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.